What is up, guys? JohnnySami01 here with another FIFA 19 tutorial. Today we're going to be talking about the most important aspect in FIFA, and that is defending. It's going to be an advanced defending tutorial, so it's not just going to go over the controls. It's going to go over tactics, some advanced things that you should be doing, what you should be thinking about when you're defending to make sure you can hold your opponents to very few to no goals. Guys, it's going to be featuring all online examples. I've seen way too many defending tutorials on the demo, on a pre-build. It's going to be online against real players and competitive games. And as always though, make sure to subscribe if you have not done so already. Make sure to check out all my previous tutorials. The first tip I always start off with is to stay back, guys. It's very important that you push your defenders back and into their lanes, especially those center backs. So here you're seeing a situation. I'm pushing my defender back into his lane and making sure I stay between the attacker and the goalkeeper. If you have a 3-back formation, make sure there's one to the left, one in the center, and one in the right. And if you have a 4-back formation, one at the left, 2 in the middle, and one all the way in the right. Make sure they're always staying back. If you're way too aggressive, as you see here, I did not move Beat back. Here in this situation, it's a perfect opportunity. Take my center back and move him back. He's way too close. Look at that other player making a run, and because of this, he's able to get the ball on a nice little through ball, and it was just far too late. It's just not going to be in time to you to catch up and stop it. It is very, very important to use your center defensive mid or any type of midfielder that you feel comfortable with. You always want to make sure not to do too much movements with your center backs. Your center backs are your last line of defense. The one you should be applying a little bit of pressure with, the one you should be trying to get into the passing lanes is with your center defensive mid, your midfielders, guys. Very, very important. Always patrol in the middle of the pitch with these guys. Get it in those passing lanes. So very quickly, we're going to start off with the basics, the controls, and when to do each one. We start with the jockey. You jockey by holding the LT button or the L2 button. If you're on PlayStation, make sure you hold it down. So here's an example. I'm going to start jockeying here. It's very, very good because it allows you to switch directions much more fluidly and stay in between the attacker and the goalkeeper. Next up, guys, push and pull. The push and pull is done by pressing the B button and holding it. You want to hold the B button or the circle button if you're on PlayStation. The push and pull is extremely effective to take the ball away from your player. Here you're seeing a situation. Anytime there's an attacker and you're right next to him and you want to take the ball away from him, press that B button, press that circle button, and take the ball away from him. Of course, there's many different factors that will affect if you're actually able to take the ball away from him, like your stats, like the momentum, like positioning. But you always, anytime you're right next to a player, just start holding that button down. The next move is the second man press, which is done by pressing the RB button or the R1 button if you're on PlayStation. A new feature in FIFA 19 is that actually tells you who your second man press will be. You see that gray little arrow over one of my teammates' head? That is the person that is going to be doing the second man press if I were to press that button. It's very, very useful in terms of slowing down your attacker. Very important. It's not going to get right in his face. He's not going to apply a lot of pressure. He's going to leave a little bit of a cushion. And now, since FIFA 18, they did an update and they kept it here for FIFA 19. Your opponent, when you play online, knows exactly who you're controlling with your defense. So it no longer works like in previous FIFAs where you can maybe fool your opponent into thinking you're controlling that person because he's the one closest to you, and then you can catch him by surprise by controlling another person and sort of trapping him. It no longer works as effectively, but it's still the same aspect that you want to use in FIFA 19 because it'll slow them down. You want to use that second man press to slow him down a little bit, make sure that he doesn't feel like he has too much space, he's not too comfortable, and then control another player and try to trap him, try to get into those shooting lanes, into those passing lanes, and stop him from scoring easy goals. Next up, we got the standing tackle, which is done by pressing the B button or the circle button if you're on PlayStation. You gotta be very careful when doing the standing tackle. I find far too many people are way too aggressive with this. If you mess up, it could lead to some huge, huge problems. You gotta wait till you're right next to him and then press that standing tackle button. Next, you want to press the X or the square button if you're on PlayStation to do the slide tackle. Slide tackles are very, very effective, especially if you use it with people that are not your last line of defense, with attackers, with midfielders. Here you're seeing a situation, you want to slide away from the player. Don't run directly into the attacker. Slide into his passing lane. Slide into the lane that he is moving towards. So if you do miss, you don't foul him and you don't get that red card, because that could definitely change the game. And do it with your attackers, because If you mess up, he's going to probably be out of the play. And if that's an attacker, it's no big deal because you still got all your defenders behind him. Make sure if you're late, especially near that penalty area, don't slide tackle because that could lead to a red card and a huge problem for you. Next up, we got the clear the ball. You want to press and hold the B button or the circle button if you're on PlayStation. It is much better, especially for headers, to use the B button rather than just the passing button because it's going to put more power into it. Don't overlook the clearing the ball, guys. Very important, especially when they're crossing the ball and the ball is near the goal. Just clear it away with the shooting button. Don't try to pass it out. Far too many easy goals are given up by this. As you see there, very, very risky. Lastly, guys, I recommend to rush the keeper by pressing the Y button or the triangle button if you're on PlayStation. A lot of the times they get a little bit anxious and they just mess up. It's much more likely that you'll catch them messing up and a little bit anxious if you rush him out than if you don't. Alright guys, now let's get into the more advanced things. Let's talk a little bit more what you should be thinking when you're defending and how you should be defending. So here's a chart that I've been using for a while now in FIFA to help describe exactly the mentality you should be thinking. So I split up the field into 3 different parts. So you see here all the way at the corners, I have what you call the blue zone or the cross zone. In this zone, it's very, very, very unlikely once again in FIFA 19 that you're going to see your opponent score from that zone. You don't have to worry too much. You don't have to bring your defenders into that zone if your opponent's in that zone. You can stay back into that yellow and protect the red zone. Then you got the yellow zones a little bit closer. Usually what ends up happening when you get somebody in the yellow zone, they're trying to cut back inside. They're trying to fool you to make you go outside to open up and do a skill move or some sort of cut that'll allow them to get inside and into an actual real good scoring opportunities. Some goals can be scored from that yellow zone, but it's not nearly as likely as that red zone, that danger zone. That is where 90 to 95% of the goals in FIFA are scored, guys. That is what you have to protect. The middle of the pitch. Of course, all these zones you can push out a little bit for long shots. That red zone is where most of the goals are scored, so you have to account for it. That's what you have to defend against. Let's take a look at a few examples of each zone and what you should be doing. For here in the blue zone, you see a situation here. He's in that blue zone. He's either going to cross it or he's going to have to cut inside. It is very, very unlikely that he's going to be able to score a long shot from that zone. He just does not have the angle to do so. So what you want to do in this situation is not bring out your player straight towards him and move yourself into that blue zone, because if you do that, a good player is going to recognize it, cut inside, and blow right by your defender. So what you want to do is you want to stay near that yellow zone. As you see there, my player is in that yellow zone protecting the middle of the pitch, expecting either a cutback or a cross. And that's exactly what you want to do. You want to just stay in that yellow zone and make sure he's not able to do that move. Here's another example. This guy has been crossing quite a few, so I'm staying a little bit closer to him than I would usually, but I'm still not completely biting towards him because I'm still aware that he might try to cut back inside, but I know that he likes to cross, so I'm trying to get a little bit closer to see if I can take away that cross and stop it before he actually gets the cross off. But I'm very, very aware of what's going on. I'm ready to switch players right away to be able to clear the ball if he does cross it. Very, very important. You see a player there, be prepared to do that switch player button, either the LB or the L1 if you're on PlayStation, to switch to that quickly when he does cross it so you can clear the ball away, and make sure you clear it. Don't just try to pass it out. Now we're going to talk about the yellow zone. Like I said before, guys, usually when people are in that yellow zone, they want to fool you into making you come out towards them so they can cut back inside into a more dangerous angle to score a goal. So here you see a situation. He's in that yellow zone. He's actually getting really, really close to that danger zone. So it's very, very important that instead of me running directly at him, I'm trying to take away his shooting lane and his passing lane. In this second example, once again, he's in that yellow zone. And what I'm doing is telling my player with a second man press, make him slow down a little bit while I control somebody else and stop him from scoring. Once again, one final example. Again, uses that second man press. Not really to pressure him, but just to make sure that he doesn't think he has all the time in the world. And then with my other player, I'm protecting the red zone, making sure that he can't pass it off for an easy goal. Then lastly, guys, the danger zone. This is where the goals are scored. This is what you have to protect against. When you're in this zone, you have to do everything possible to stop him from scoring, stop him from shooting. Here you can see he's already past me. He's in that danger zone. I try to push and pull. I try to stop him at all costs. Try to push him outside. Try to push him towards that yellow zone. Protect the middle. As you're seeing here, constantly using my CDM, jockeying and protecting the middle, not biting. A lot of people, what they're trying to do right here with these slow movements is make you bite towards the outside so we can cut inside. So now let me show you some examples of me playing online and showing you me putting everything together and what you should be doing. So here you're seeing I'm making sure all my players are back, and then I'm using my midfielder. I'm jockeying, I'm protecting the middle of the pitch and trying to get into those passing lanes. Exactly what happens there, able to take it away. Again here, he's in the blue zone, no need to follow him. Protect the middle. Now he's in the yellow zone, but I'm still protecting the middle. Using the second man press to apply a little bit of pressure, and again, protecting the middle. I mess up a little bit there, so I quickly have to switch. In FIFA 19, you have to be a little bit more manual, guys. So you have to be prepared to switch players quickly, especially once the ball gets near the middle of the pitch. So always be aware and be ready to switch players and protect the middle, protect that danger zone and stop them from scoring. Here in this final example, once again, everyone's back, so now I can just use my CDM, try to get into those passing lanes, but protecting the middle, not biting on anything, and allowing me to take the ball away from him. But that is it, guys. I hope you guys liked this tutorial. If you did, please like, comment, share with all your friends. Click on one of these videos to check out some of my other playlists, my tutorials, as well as my top 5 videos once they come out. Guys, as always, make sure to subscribe so you don't miss out on any future ones. Thank you guys so much.